I'm Nicole King, and this is Marbella Now.
And as time flies by, you'll open up your eyes wide. You feel it's gonna go your way. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, hey, hey.
When people work hard, particularly to help others, it's really nice to be recognised. But when that recognition comes from the British Embassy and our Queen, that is an honour that we can only but feel proud to say. Welcome back to the programme, Anne Hernandez, MBE.
Thank you so much.
Oh my, I am so
Yes.
delighted.
Thank you.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. A huge surprise, I must be truthful.
When did you find out? How did you find out?
When did I find out? About a month before it was actually announced, so that's probably coming up for 2 months now, I believe. How did I find out? Well, that's a little bit odd, actually. I had a telephone call from the British Ambassador Hugh, Elliott's secretary, to say, could he book a call with me, a telephone call, for the Monday? Well, as our association at the moment, Brexpats in Spain, we've sort of morphed a little bit more into being like a campaign group. We're trying to challenge what is wrong. Nobody else is doing it, seemingly. And I thought perhaps he was going to be telling me off because we'd gone one step too far and given them a little bit too much. So when he phoned on the Monday, my instant answer was, I'm so sorry, Hugh, I really do apologise, you know, we'll hold back. He said, whatever are you talking about? And then yes, would you accept it because you've been awarded it? So, oh my goodness me, thank you. I don't.
So you're like, forget the other.
Yeah, I know.
I
I mean, I've said to others, I really felt like I was being called to the headmaster's office for telling off. You know, it's really strange.
It's actually the funny. It just goes to show how in our own minds, based on our limited knowledge, we make up these wild stories that are normally quite negative for no reason.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole weekend, because that was from the Thursday to then the Monday, and the whole weekend, I was quite concerned. Have I really upset them? That really wasn't my intention, because we need their help. You know, that would be stupid. That's cutting off our own noses. So I was really quite concerned, actually, that I had actually gone one step too far. I thought, oh dear, here we go. But
when you started Brexpats, obviously you had no idea it was going to expand like it did. Before we actually talk about the group and what you've achieved, who are you? Because I know you as Brexpats. That's how I've met you.
I'm Mrs. Brexpats. Yeah.
And we've spoken so many times. You've been on the show so many times, but very rarely had the opportunity to say, Anne Hernandez, MBE. Not this is your life, but tell us a bit about.
I'll tell you a bit about me.
Your life.
Actually, yesterday I believe it was. It's 22 years ago that I moved to the Costa del Sol. Having lived in Tenerife and other parts of Spain already, so 37 years in total, but to the Costa del Sol 22 years ago. In fact, today it's 20 years ago since I even went back to the UK. How shameful is that? But there we go, I'm here.
But you still feel very British.
I've still got a British passport, absolutely.
A lot of people ask, well, why don't I, for example, take Spanish nationality or this? And it's like, but I'm British, even though I haven't lived there again like you for so many years.
I was asked this at the beginning, but why are you so concerned? You know, surely you're Spanish. No, I'm still British, and I'm quite proud to be British. Not quite so much of late, I must be truthful, but I am British. It's what you are. I can't change what I am. You know, it's your whole structure, isn't it? Your fibre, basically. So I started Brexpats in Spain just after the referendum. This is Anne Hernandez. And I only started it as Brexpats in Mijas. Now, prior to that, I had a very small, just a Facebook group helping people called Costa Help. I had my mother with me then, and my mother passed away before the referendum. Sorry. And she used to come. She was 86, and she used to go to a club, an expats club, let's say, play bingo and have a few games, quizzes and things. And she used to come home and say to me, "You never guess what they've said today." Bob in the bar, I labelled him. We're going to this, that, and the other. That's absolute rubbish. No. And anyway, having then lost her, and I thought, how many people are now going to start wondering? They don't have the likes of me at home to tell them, no, that isn't true. Because I've lived here a long time, and I'm also president of my community for 15 years. So
you speak Spanish?
I speak Spanish, and I've worked alongside with local councils, so I know quite well how things function. Not fully, but yeah. So I started this group, Brexpats in Spain, Brexpats in Mijas. I went and spoke to the mayor of Mijas, and I said, what do we do? Because these people are going to be needing help. And he said, well, okay, Brexpats in Mijas. And that's as far as I ever thought it would go. Within about a month, a friend set me up with a Facebook group and a website. I had about 1,000 inquiries from the Canaries, from Alicante, from everywhere else. And you're going to have to help us. And I think, oh my God, I can't spread myself that widely. So
what did you do?
I went back to the mayor and he said, well, okay, so make it Brexpats in Spain. And we are a fully affiliated, legalised association as from day one.
And who
which we had
mans
to
it?
do.
Who was answering all these queries?
Me initially, but then now, obviously, because it's gone beyond that, I've got representatives doing exactly what I do, but in other areas. So yeah, we've sort of got, I don't know what you call them, like outposts, let's say.
Did you have business experience in this genre? I mean, like
Not in
you've
politics,
taken on
no.
so much, and in the sense of.
No, nothing to do with politics. Anybody that knows me, they say, what, you
So what
involved
did you
with
work at, or
politics?
what did you do?
I was a
or-
university lecturer in the UK and here in Spain. Obviously now retired, but I sort of gave that up early.
What was your subject?
My subject was hospitality and tourism, and my most favourite subject, I suppose, was marketing. So I was quite used to promotional techniques and marketing and talking to people and making presentations and that sort of thing with tourism as well.
Because it's come through, it's so apparent
Yeah.
in the sense of the way that the page is run.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah,
sense
no,
that there's a professionalism
yeah,
to it.
there is. Obviously, my initial desire, let's say, was to stop the rumours, the likes that Bob in the Bar was spreading. I've heard of Sally in the Salon and lots of others since. And we just deal in facts. And we weren't going to be politically biased in as, obviously we've got our own opinions. We don't want Brexit. Of course, if you live here, who would? But we wouldn't not accept queries and members that had voted to leave. I mean, because as I said from the beginning, the outcome, the consequences are going to affect them in exactly the same way as they do those that voted to remain. I mean, I couldn't vote because I've lived here too long anyway. I certainly would have
Is
voted
that one
to
of the
remain.
issues that you're going to be addressing from the page
Well,
with your group, with this army of people?
Well, no, because it's really weird, because you tell people the truth, and even to this day it will happen. And some will say, oh, that's just scaremongering. Not quite so much now, but then I'll answer somebody's question factually, and then I see I'm tagged into them on a totally different group, and I think, I've just answered this person, and then I say, I'm sorry, I can't change my answer. I've given you the truth. If you don't like it, then I'm sorry. People only seem to want to believe what they like. We're a bit of an odd bunch of people, us Brits, to be truthful and broad. We are.
You mentioned before about those who voted to leave, not offering them the support. How do you vet them?
We don't vet them. We look at their Facebook groups, obviously, but we don't vet them with regards to whether they voted to leave.
Because there
or
are a
to
lot
remain.
of them, and I
Yeah,
don't
there
think any of them were expecting
How many now?
the ramifications
Oh, God,
of what
Nicole,
that actually
how
meant.
many now actually say, but I didn't vote for this? And I say, hello, if you voted to leave, you did. And then they say, well, I didn't realise I was voting for it. I said, best you don't say anymore, because you're just really painting yourself as being rather stupid to have voted for it if you didn't understand it. I mean, don't vote for it at all if you don't understand it. It's not the best vote, but...
But there was a lot of false
Totally.
information giving to understand that the British health insurance would receive such an
Yeah.
injection of
of
finances. So
course.
it was. You could see it.
350
Could you
yeah.
see it coming?
What, Brexit?
No,
Or-
you could see that the people were falling for.
Of course they were,
things
because
that
the Leave campaign was much stronger than the Remain campaign. And I said at the time, David Cameron rather shot himself in the foot, because he never, ever thought it would ever go ahead. And it did, I'm afraid, and they fell for the lies. Perhaps we're rather more gullible than I ever thought we were.
Because I think not having the vote for those of us who live out here obviously was an influence as well, because it affects us.
Absolutely.
To
It
such a
probably
large
affects
degree.
us more than it does those that are living in the UK, to be truthful, because we've had to jump through quite a lot of hoops in order to remain here legally, or to even come here legally from now, you know. Some people are trying to make their retirement, let's say, early in order to come here, but they have to apply for a non-lucrative visa in the UK, and if they don't comply, if they don't tick all of the boxes, no way. I mean, it's really difficult.
It is gone are the times of like when I showed up here and it's like, oh, so I get a job and see what happened.
Somebody not so long ago, I went with them to help get their TIE, and they said, oh, their son was over for a couple of weeks. I think he'd like to stay. He's very good at bar work. And I said, oh, how's he going to get a job then? Well, he'll just pop into the local bar and hopefully... No.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. That's not how it works anymore. He's got to go back to the UK and he's got to get a visa. It just doesn't work like that. And obviously he was older. He was an adult, not a junior, a dependent of hers. Otherwise he could have sort of piggybacked on her right, but no.
Wow. We're chatting with Anna Nandith, MBE. We're going to a short break. Don't go away, because we'll be back after this.
Hey,
Judy likes to consider herself a clever young woman. which is why she thought very carefully before choosing her insurance company. Now that she needs it, she's jolly glad she chose Linear Director, as it looks as if she might have something better to do. Why don't you be clever, like Judy? Call Linear Director on 952 14 78 34 and see which policy is best for you.
Everyone that comes and wants to join our Zero Hero Association, they will have free non-alcoholic drinks at our venue at any time.
Hi guys, Ross here from Hogan Stand. Proud to be a member of the Zero Hero campaign. And we recommend everybody. Nobody drives drinking. Everybody who drives a car doesn't have any alcohol in their system, and we're proud to sponsor the Zero Hero program.
GWine is happy to be Zero Hero partner.
How cool is that? GY.
We are proud to present Zero the Hero. Never drink and drive.
When I'm the designated driver, I think it's only fair that I get to choose a Zero Hero venue that rewards me with free soft drinks. My friends all get to choose and booze, and they feel safe going home with me. Make sure that you get your reward for being the designated driver. Why pay if you don't have to?
Let it set you on your way. No time.
Zero Hero, welcome here at the Gaucho de Banús.
Tearing us apart. Poison arrows shoot straight to your heart.
Welcome to Lemongrass, Doña Lola. Thank you very much.
Just believe it's worth your time. One. We are
Zero Hero, welcome to Portofino, Cabo Pino.
We are
Hi guys, Kazatua is proud to welcome the Zero Heroes. So come on in and enjoy free soft drinks for anyone who is the designated driver. Thank you, Nicole.
So here we are at Everest. Very cool.
Yeah.
Stickers going up.
Hiya, my name is Govinda. I'm from Everest. Welcome to Zero Hero, to Everest Fusion, to enjoy your cocktails, drinks, and happy hour as well. And food, of course, is delicious. Thank you.
change if you try. Just believe it.
Welcome to Sister Taperia. Perfecto.
If you've just joined us, I'm chatting with Anne Hernandez, MBE. Are you going to write that after your name?
No, I suppose I will eventually.
You should do.
Yes, I should.
I mean, what a thing for your curriculum. I mean, what a thing to have on one CV.
Absolutely.
Anne Hernandez, MBE.
I should be wearing the medal, yeah.
Did you got a medal?
No, not yet. I've got to collect it.
So when's that? When's
I don't know.
the
I
ceremony?
haven't heard yet. It's either at St James's Palace or I can go to Madrid to the British Embassy.
But you get the chance to go to actually to meet the Queen. And
I don't
do
know
it
who
all.
presents it. I don't know if it's Queen, Prince Charles or Prince William. It'll be one of them.
One
yeah.
of the royal families. I mean, you have to feel chuffed.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, no one ever says thank you. Not no one, but it's a very rare thing for people to say thank you.
Yeah, it's
let
a bit
alone
odd,
have
though.
the Queen.
Yeah, but Nicole, it's a little bit odd because I still don't think I deserve it because I don't think I've done anything special.
Okay, let me
I mean-
start. The fact that every time our Prime Minister opens his mouth and you have it translated
Oh, yes, I do
and
that.
on the Facebook page within a couple of hours, even if it was just for that, you deserve an MBE,
Well, thank
an
you.
OBE.
Yeah, no. Yes, I do a lot of that. And I've
You
been doing it
do-
for 5 years. But, now, wait a minute. What I do is I think I've just been helpful, shown compassion and kindness to my fellow Brits. And I don't think that deserves special recognition. It's something we should all be doing anyway. if you can understand that. I did
But
say
you're
this.
doing it effectively, and I can
Yeah,
see
I-
why the British Embassy here would have wanted that to be recognised, because I know how they've struggled.
Yes,
Like the Spanish
absolutely.
authorities. No one thinks of the poor policemen who never asked us to leave the British community, and yet they are the ones who have to deal with all the paperwork. It's like, I think people are absolutely brainless and
the
mindless of
expense
what
of it, I
actually
know.
we have caused.
I know, and it really annoys me actually when the British say, oh my goodness, look what the Spanish are doing to us. Why are they making it so difficult? Hello, Spain hasn't left the EU. You know, I mean, Spain doesn't want this any more than you or I do. It's costing them a fortune.
It's costing them a
I mean, the
fortune.
year before last, I believe they deployed 2,000 extra staff just to cope with our British demand. Obviously, COVID came in, so things didn't quite continue as they should be, and there's still a backlog, as we know, of lack of appointments and scarcity of staff. But it's getting worked through. Let's put it like that.
What are the things that most we need to be aware of now, in the sense if you haven't got some form of paperwork in now, you are starting as if you were a third country, and that includes anyone who's over age, as you were just mentioning before the break?
Okay, well, there is, in the first instance, and it's totally untrue, there is no deadline to apply for a TIE as a British, as a beneficiary of the withdrawal agreement, as a Brit abroad. So you can apply for it at any time, provided you can prove that you were living here legally before the 31st of December 2020, which a lot of people can't because they weren't living here legally. They didn't have a padron, they didn't have private medical insurance, two main things that are requested. So they have to go back to the UK or remain in the UK, apply for one of the other visas. We mentioned the non-lucrative, it might not be, that's sort of like a retirement or pension visa. But they might want to come over and work, in which case they've got to put in a business plan. There's all sorts of different visas. And then they get a stamp in their passport, and they have then 3 months to come to Spain to apply for their residency, a TIE, Tarjeta de Identidad de Extranjero. They're not being told that, strangely enough, at some of the Spanish consulates in the UK. They just think that stamp in the visa, that visa stamp in their passport is their permission. And then they hear and I said, you've got to apply for your TIE. Oh, nobody told us that. Well, you're just in time because it's only valid for 3 months, that visa stamp. And sadly, they're not being told. So there's a lot of information still not being filtered down. The other thing, the most confusion at the moment is the driving licence issue. Okay, so the driving licence is back to what I was saying with the massive amount of the backlog. I don't think anybody envisaged there was that many of us here in Spain that didn't have a driving licence, didn't have a proper residency. There was that many under the radar, probably double the amount of those that they already knew about. So Spain very generously realised they couldn't get through our huge demand, and they said, okay, provided you registered all of your details with an NIE and your driving licence, details, etc., before the 30th of December, we would give you 6 months to exchange your driving licence because you need to have a TIE, a residency, in order to be able to do so. So, okay, that's fine. Now, the 29th and the 30th, the last 2 days, I was actually bombarded with requests. Can you register me, Anne? Can you register? Because you had to do it. And you had to do the phonetic alphabet. So it was like A, alpha, B, beta, that sort of thing. But the Spanish version of, so it's Avila, Barcelona, it's Cádiz, that sort of thing. And unless you know fluent Spanish, I don't think you're perhaps going to get all your details correct. And if there's only one detail missing, a number or a letter, then it's invalid. Because they had to validate the driving licence with the UK DVLA. So, okay, so pending the fact that there would be no international exchange of data, they only had the 31st as the last day of the month of the year to be able to do it before the transition period ended. So, okay, so those that did register had until June the 30th. Now, a couple of weeks ago, they extended that very kindly. UK and Spain have agreed that it will be until October the 31st. But this has caused some confusion because people now think they can still exchange their driving licence even though they didn't register, but they can't.
It's only if you registered at that
so
time.
they can drive until October the 31st. They now have until the 31st of December to actually exchange, but only if they're already registered. If you aren't
and if they aren't registered,
then potentially, unless there's a further agreement, and we're working on it, trying to push this through. Possibly it would just be the practical test is not required. Maybe they will still have to sit a theory, which you can do in English, but the practical is in Spanish. Then I'm afraid it's a driving test. It's a Spanish driving test.
things have changed a lot. Oh, ye who have voted us out of the
unfortunately,
the European community has just
say it's,
really made a mess.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. Every day, every week, there's something else that has.
I mean, who'd have thought that it would have closed down bank accounts and the things that we just weren't even. Even I said chatting with Charmaine, the British consul, that never came up or in our thoughts.
No, I mean freedom of movement. I mean we've been stripped of our EU identity. And then the other group of people that are really unhappy about it are what we call swallows, which are those that are perhaps second homeowners here, or they spend more than 3 months, 90 days here. Well, it's always been the same because the UK was not in the Schengen area, but now obviously they've got to implement it, and they can only spend 90 days in any 180 days here in Spain. They're not happy with that because they want to spend longer. And then, of course, they're saying, well, that's absolutely ridiculous. Why would Spain do that to us? We invested our money in a property in Spain, as if it's Spain's fault.
As if it's Spain's fault.
And it isn't. So, I mean, please, if nothing else, get it into your heads. This is not Spain's fault. This is what Brexit has done.
Exactly, and we should be the opposite. We should be grateful for all the work we've caused them. And it's nothing to do with them.
I mean, you know, we were pawns in their sort of political game with the UK, I must be truthful. And now we're sort of out of sight, out of mind. We're forgotten. With 300 and potentially, I think, 80,000 Brits living in Spain that are registered, possibly more that we don't know about. And I mean, we're just living our life in the sunshine and sitting on the beach and drinking lots of sangria and wine. Happy days, you know, that's how they see us, seriously.
Some come to live in Spain, like you and I, and others have come to live in the sun.
Exactly. I mean, it's nothing I've ever done. I don't drink alcohol and I don't go to the beach, but some do. I'm not saying it's wrong, but there we go. But that's how they see us. They seem to think, well, what's your problem? You've got nice weather, everything else. But that isn't the case because there's so many hoops we've still got to jump through.
Exactly.
And that is not the life for all of us.
What hoops, not all at one go, but do contact Anna Hernandez, MBE. I don't get enough of saying that. I can't wait to see the medal and the whole shaboomy and go record you getting your medal and everything. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole.
Congratulations. So very proud of you and so grateful to you.
Thank you.
We'll be back tomorrow with more of what's going on in Marbella Now. But what can I say? That was absolutely awesome. I think it's the first time I've interviewed someone with an MBE. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to each other. Remember, you can watch recordings of the programme from the rtvmarbella.tv website or their YouTube channel or my YouTube channel or from my website nicoleking.es with links to the programme, also to the Zero Hero website offering free soft drinks to designated drivers in all the participating hotels, bars, restaurants to promote road safety on our streets. And of course to my Marbella Moments weekly column in the Euro Weekly News. Hasta mañana. Bye-bye.
So much trouble tearing us apart. Poison